All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Finally got new equipment, could start doing my interviews again. We are doing a retake of my interview last week with Holmdel senior Sofia Mancino. Sophia, thank you for joining me again.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
First off, how is what the COVID question that I like to ask everybody? What is Holmdel doing? I'm assuming now they're probably all virtual, but is that what they're doing?
So we're all virtual right now, but I think they're trying to change it where right after Christmas they want to get it back to like a hybrid schedule. You go to a few classes in the morning and then a few in the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing that since like October, because they're worried about kids going, families going away for vacation, coming back, or travel. So, how did you find that adjustment, going all virtual from, even just at the end of your last year?
At first, I think last year was definitely a little difficult, especially junior year. It's like your hardest year, everyone says. But then this year, I think we all got used to it because we were in it for a few months. So then we adjusted pretty quickly.
Yeah, and people forget the teachers had to make adjustments on the fly too. Nothing prepared them for this. Just like the students.
Mhm.
Um, do you think making those adjustments, or sudden change will help you, next year when you're in college, because college is different than high school. You're not sitting in the classrooms all the time.
Mhm. I think it will because I feel like the schedule at college, obviously the workload's going to be like a lot more difficult, but with like the scheduling and like managing your time, I think that'll help a lot with this schedule.
Yeah, that's what when I started doing these interviews in the spring when COVID was really bad, that was something that I like to bring up. And, if the kids had a hard time adjusting, and I said, in the long run, when you're in college, it's going to help you, adjust. Now, talking soccer, got to see you play only one game, this past season, which is disappointing, but with the schedule, it was kind of hard to get everywhere. How old were you when you started playing soccer?
Three, three.
3 years old. I'm sorry, I don't know why my phone's
It's
going off.
okay.
All my friends sending me stuff. Um, so 3 year old, I'm guessing that Homedale Rec or
Yeah, I started at Holmdel, the Holmdel Shamrocks. I remember.
Homedale. That's a good memory. You remember your first team name. Um, and then did you play any other sports?
Oh yeah, I did like dance, basketball. I tried lacrosse, softball, and taekwondo. I was like huge in when I was younger.
I mean, the last interview we talked about that. It was so many more, girls I interviewed, taking the karate, whether jujitsu type, taekwondo. You think that helps you with your soccer play?
I don't know about that, but maybe being vocal, honestly. But other than
Okay.
that,
How long did you do taekwondo for, or do you still do it?
I don't still do it. But I think I honestly did it for my mom just came in. No, she's like I got to like a second degree black belt, but I don't
Oh,
remember the exact years. I had to do it for at least like I have to say 3 or 4 years at least.
wow,
Yeah, more than that.
that's pretty impressive. Um, you also we talked last time you do horse riding, right?
Yep. I did. I do. I still do horseback riding. I was just there the other day.
What got you into horseback riding?
My sister started doing it, and then we used to do these camps like nearby my house. And then we found a trainer, and just like once you start getting into horseback riding, like you don't stop. So that's how it kept going.
And you do competitions with horseback riding?
Mhm.
How does obviously, so people that know, you don't race horses, it's more like show and like jumping and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Everyone asks that. Like I don't race the horse.
Um, yeah, that's fascinating. I don't think I know many people that got into horseback riding. Do you get nervous, when you're doing the jumps and stuff?
It depends on the horse, but it's definitely it's at a horse show, so you get nervous no matter what, like going into
Mm,
the ring, but
mm.
it's a lot of
Have you
fun.
you won any competitions?
Yeah, with horseback riding, you go to like a ton of shows. Like it's like
Uh,
once a weekend or two a weekend,
uh-huh.
so you have an opportunity to win a lot. But I've definitely gone to like a few big shows that are like so much fun.
That's great. Now you brought up you have a sister. She plays soccer too.
hmm She she played soccer for a really long time, and then she tore ACL, went back and then tore her meniscus in one knee and ACL in the other. So then it was like she decided to call it quits after that.
Yeah, that's a tough injury to recover from. Um, were you two very competitive growing up when you played soccer?
Um, I mean, she's 3 years older than me, but
Oh,
when we went to training, we used to train at somewhere like we'd go 4 days a week together, but we never were like against each other. But like if we were playing in the backyard, it was definitely competitive. My brother too.
oh yeah. How old's your brother again?
He's 3 years younger, so he's a freshman.
Okay, and yeah, I could see that getting backyard soccer getting a little intense. Does he play soccer too?
Yep, he plays soccer and lacrosse, basketball.
Okay. Now I like to ask players this: what have your parents meant to you, in your development? Because I know it's first of all, soccer sports are not cheap. Any sport's not cheap these
Mhm.
days, and a lot of travel. What have they meant in your, be
I
successful?
mean, they've done more than anyone I could like possibly think of. It was a lot for them to handle, especially doing like they'd take me to a horse show and then go straight to a soccer game. And I mean, since I was younger, the first real club team I went to was like 45 minutes away, and now I'm driving like an hour and a half. So they put in like a lot of commitment for me, and I obviously appreciate it. Like I wouldn't be at the level I am today if it weren't for them.
Um, Going back to your Shamrocks, right? It was the Shamrocks. Do you remember who your first coach was?
I don't know. There was a lot of parents like that, but I feel like
Yeah.
my first like team right after that was Jackson. So I think it was Coach Bruce and Coach Lenny.
Bruce Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I see Bruce all over the place. He
That was
actually,
the first time I went to a club team and I was like, oh gosh, it was like intimidating. But
yeah, it's tough. And then after the Jackson Club team, where did you go?
so right after that I went to GFA for 3 years and the training was great. And then I went to Matchfit and I've been at Matchfit since I have to say at least seventh grade now.
Oh wow, so you've
I
you
kind
really
of
you found a home there at Matchfit.
did a lot for me. So I love it there.
Who's your coach at Matchfit?
Right now it's Coach Stom, but throughout the years it's rotated between like Coach Jordan and Coach Rob.
Do you? I'm going to ask this when we get to Holmdel. Talk about high school because you went through a couple of coaches there. Do you find it? I mean, I guess like a program like Match Fit and PDA, they all have the same philosophy, all the coaches. So it's probably not that hard to adjust when they switch out coaches. Would you?
Oh yeah, I could see that because they're all like in sync with each other and
Yeah.
communicating. So it's not too big of a deal like when they switch and stuff.
Um. Well, any players from the Shore area that play on your Match Fit team?
No. A lot of my friends are very far away. They're all in like you'll probably know Claire and Sydney from Montclair,
Yeah.
Northern Highlands, those teams. So
That's weird from back when I used to coach ages ago. It was just basically your town friends and maybe one or two girls that you friends, like neighboring towns. Now, you're all over. These
mhm.
teams draw from all over, which is good because you're getting the best talent that way too. Do you think you find that?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of competition when we go there, so I enjoy it. A lot of girls drive pretty far to go there, so
Yeah. Do you think going up against, the best competition like at a match fit or, a PDA or Cedar helps bring out the best in the players?
yeah, definitely.
There's a local basketball trainer that always preaching, you get better by practicing against the best kids in the area. And I agree with
Wait,
that.
what's his name? Is he from wait, name the school name.
Not it's not a bit. He does private,
Oh,
tiny,
okay.
tiny green. He's one of the. If you're from the shore area for basketball, that's where you go to train because
Got
all the
it.
all the great kids go there. But yeah, that's something he always preaches is to get better, you gotta go against the best talent. And I agree with that. Something I try to tell my niece when she's practicing at our club team. I say, you want to go up against the best defender because that's the only way you're going to get better. You don't get better by blowing by somebody every single time. Um, Now transitioning to high school. what were some goals you set for yourself? You know, you're going to school freshman year. What were some goals you set for soccer?
Um, I think just managing. I got a little. I think I've improved now, but especially a few years ago, I'd get very chaotic on the ball. So I just wanted to like learn how to relax because in high school you could like dribble a little bit more too. So I just wanted to like stay compact and just learn how to be a very like versatile and play a lot of positions.
What position do you play for match fit?
Left back
Left
and
back.
up sometimes.
Uh, do you find, because that's one thing I found, you know, getting back into soccer, I find it interesting that girls are playing on the high school team almost completely different positions than you play for the club team. Now I know somebody your talent probably it's not difficult to adjust, but do you find that weird?
Um, for high school, I think I enjoy going up a lot more.
Mhm.
I was in the back for a few years and it wasn't fun. So it was definitely a lot better going up top.
We'll talk about. I don't want to lose this question because we'll talk about Penn State a little later. Are you gonna be? You think you're gonna be playing back for Penn State or more up front?
I think in the back.
Okay. I know if I waited to when we start talking about Penn State, I will not remember that question. Um, going back to your freshman year, any upperclassmen that helped you or guided you your first year?
Yeah, so I played with my cousin, Francesca Peloro, and then I was very close with Kat Rebel and all of them. They were very close to my sister, so and they were so sweet to like all the other underclassmen too. So they helped a lot, like with communication on the field and whatnot.
Do you think that did that you know that you had your cousin and sister's friends? Do you think that helped you your freshman year? Maybe not being such nervous since you already knew some of the girls.
I think so, maybe. It's definitely you're a little freshman, so it's definitely scary going in, but it was definitely they helped a little. They were
And
nice.
a funny story. My sister's freshman year, she played at St. Rose. They played. Wall was always the opening night, big rivalry, and she was in the game, and they had the senior, went to St. John's. She was really really good. And the girl passed the ball to my sister. My sister's like, "No, I don't want the ball," because she was so nervous. It's, big game under the lights, and you got
Oh,
a all state girl passing you the ball. My sister's freshman saying, "No, I don't want it. Take it back," pretty much. So no,
that's
I could, yeah, I could understand. Being a freshman, it could be a little bit intimidating. Um, Now moving to your sophomore year. First, who was your coach your freshman year?
Conroy.
Was he your coach your sophomore year too?
It's a girl. She knows. Gelke was our coach for
Sophomore and junior. What was something you were looking to improve on your sophomore year?
um I think working out of the back. I definitely think I did play defense then
Hmm.
on high school. So I think just trying to get up off the field. It was a little difficult to like be a left back in high school and get forward.
Um, any accomplishments your sophomore year?
I don't really remember sophomore year, honestly.
It's funny. I think you actually gave that same answer when we did the interview
I
last.
know because I really just can't. I thought I was like writing it down. And I was like, I can't. Like, I don't know
It's all right.
because
Now
there's really.
um now moving to your junior year, you're becoming more of a leader on the team. Were you still playing in the back your junior year? Yeah.
Yep.
So this year, coach Carlo moved you up. Okay. Um, yeah, that was a good decision. Good decision. Um,
I always asked to go up, but unfortunately, it didn't happen until senior year.
um, do you find it difficult now? Three different coaches in a 4-year span in high school. That's tough. Did you find it difficult adjusting because high school could be different. Each coach have different philosophy. It's not like an academy program where all the coaches have the same philosophy. Did you find it difficult to adjust?
Yes, honestly, it was definitely like a little difficult. Not this year. Like I think Coach Nakara like had a whole game plan and everything was like very organized. So we were able to just click with him pretty well.
Yeah, because looking at the roster, you had this year's team very similar to last year, and
Yeah, it's like
last year.
we got JK and AD, and other than that, it's all the same.
Um, Where was JK? What's her last name
Jules,
again?
Jules Koba. I can't say. It's like
Okay, that's fine.
uh,
Wait, did she transfer or did she? Was it
no,
DA?
she played on DA Cedar Star, so she decided to play with us this year.
Yeah. So everybody knows DA's Development Academy because I get text messages when I do these interviews. What does DA mean? So the Development Academy, Cedar Stars was part of it, just for people. And if you were part of it, you cannot play high school soccer. Were you happy that you never had to make that decision?
Yeah, I think I was.
I
Match
mean,
fit was always like it was definitely risky because they knew it was going to be an issue. A lot of girls love playing high school, so
yeah.
yeah, I don't head out for a year, so we got lucky.
So, and PDA was similar. I think there was 1 year PDA did that, and then they pulled it out. And I know one of the first soccer interviews I did was uh, Laskowskis, and she missed her sophomore year, and she was very happy that, because you're playing with your friends, you're missing out, and high school is the best time of your life. So,
Mhm.
um, so let's talk your senior year, because your team had an unbelievable. What did you 15-0? Was that what you finished? Um, First, what were your thoughts in the summer with COVID? Did you think the season was going to happen?
There's definitely a thought in the back of all of our heads, but once we went to, I think we went to Capelli and played our scrimmages. In the summer, it was actually like COVID obviously was a lot better than now.
Yeah.
So, but there was always a thought in the back of our head, like this could be our last game that we're going to play right now.
Yeah, I mean that was the mind, me just going to the games. That's why I try to hit so many the first couple weeks because you never know when programs will have to shut down or if the state was going to shut it down. Especially as we got closer to the winter or November. Um, we'll talk states a little bit. I want to talk new coach coming in, so successful with the boys program. What was something Coach Nicarlo, what he was trying to right away, like his philosophy and trying to get the team to buy in?
So as soon as he came in, I mean, we started playing like right away. A lot of it was conditioning, especially because you weren't really allowed to even touch the ball. We had a
Yeah,
lot of rules,
yeah,
so everything was running. And he always said, being in shape that's 50% of the game. So like
yeah.
if you could do that, then so I mean, we definitely followed that. And preseason, I could say it definitely paid off.
um, and you could see the way how well your team was conditioned. I mean, I was at the RBC game, but the hustle, the speed, you guys were, you were a step ahead of RBC every aspect, and like that starts in the preseason. I agree. Um, do you think his mentality too was a reason? I mean, you girls went 6-10 your junior year, and then yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and like I said, you had a very similar roster. Only two big new additions. But do you think um,
I
his
mean,
mindset?
so we always knew we had the talent, so that was why it was so frustrating in the past years. And then as soon as he came in, I mean, we used to always go to the boys' games. I mean, they won everything. So we respected him on another level. So it was like we were very grateful that he came in and we wanted to respect him every way. So when he told us to do something, we'd do it 100%, like every time.
I saw what was it on Twitter? He posted the picture with a couple of the boys players. You girls got the jackets. So I mean that's good that he's trying to tie in both program the history that he had with the
Mhm.
boys and
We had a little scrimmage. It was fun.
who won.
I actually had to leave early. I had a game, but they mixed the teams up, so it was fair.
Okay, okay. Um, uh, um, what is something you're senior, you're leaving? What's something that you tried to pass on to the underclassmen?
I think to just push the people around you. If they see that you're working hard, everyone else is gonna also work hard.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's it. You got to put the effort in, and you know, you, I always say you never take a play off because you never know, who's watching. I mean, even doing my all short teams, some teams I only got to see once, and unfortunately that has some effect on, you know, me, bumping somebody or putting on it. But and you never know if a college is watching, if you're being recruited and stuff. And I try to say that to some parents too that get a little loud in the you never know who you might be sitting next to either. Um, sorry, going through my notes.
It's okay.
Um, now, guys, you ran the table. I mean, your team started off, I think, what, fifth preseason in the APP? I think you were
I
ranked
think so.
fifth.
Yep, we were ranked 5 in the
And clearly you finished number one. I want to just talk the RBC game. The first RBC game where basically you made the statement. Your team, the real deal. I know I was getting updates from an RBC parent, and they said Holmdel just dominated. It was only 2-1, but they said that it could have been more. What was the game plan? And I actually think Shore Sports Network was at that game.
They did go to that one.
That was the only regular season game I think they were at.
Yep.
And I could bet you it was probably because it was RBC.
I know.
But that's what I say. You got to show up because you made a statement. Shore Sports Network was there that game. And what was the mindset or the game plan that the coach and the team had before the first game?
So we knew that everyone thought like RBC was going to win. So it definitely motivated us a lot. And I mean, we were able to watch film. So we just as together, I think we wanted it on a different level because we knew that could put our name out there. So we just gave it our all.
I made it to the second game. I thought it'd be a highly competitive game, and I was completely wrong. I predicted. I thought RBC. You're the number one team in the Shore. You're top 5 in the state. You just lost. At the time, people thought it was an upset loss. I figured they would come out firing all cylinders, and boy, I was wrong. Your team. It was one of the most dominant games I saw, especially 2 high-level teams. I've seen dominant where you got a top team playing a bad team and you're going to be dominated, but you two top teams and your team put it on. What was the mindset that game? Coming off a big win, there was no letdown by Holmdel, which is impressive.
So we knew that before we were going in, we were all saying like you have to picture yourself losing that game because we knew that they were going to want it, and so we came into that mindset. We were like, everyone here has to pretend that we just lost that game. Otherwise, everyone else would have been like, oh, we won last game. So everyone was on the same page. We wanted it just as bad as the one before, and we were able to come out.
Something that impressed me with that, first time actually getting to see you play live was you making the decision. And, we talked about this in the last interview. You're like 35 yards out and, you make the decision whether to – you clearly could see that you're looking for somebody to make a run or pass, but then you just decide to shoot and you put it, top of the net. What's your mindset, when you're doing something like that?
So I think I tried hitting far post a few times, not in that game, but like in the past. And the last game, I knew she was like a little high on her line, so I didn't think anyone was going to expect it, and I was able to get the shot off and hit pretty far out.
I'm glad you said that because that was my thing. I thought she was, and she's a great goalie. I just thought she a little out of position, a little high. But I love seeing you do that so well. There's a couple other players. Katie Coyle does that. Too. You could see that players like you're watching the whole field and nothing there, and you're able to put it top post. And I guess that's why you're at the level you are. And it's just fun to watch when you do that. Now, moving to the postseason, you play your first state game against Manchester, right? You beat Manchester. Mm-hmm. What was your thought when the game ended and you found out that Holmdel canceled the rest of the season?
We actually didn't find out until later that night.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we were very upset. We didn't even think that we were going to get canceled. We thought it was just going to be the boys team because no other sports team at Holmdel had any cases. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely very upsetting, but we tried it. It was out of our control.
Yeah, that's both Middletowns went through the same thing, no positive cases, and it's just unfair, especially a senior like yourself. You put 3 years playing, you guys were pretty much a 500 team, and then you guys put it all together your senior year, big run. You were the team to beat, and then you get kind of cheated out of, a sectional final. Mm-hmm. Who do you think you would have faced? It would have been either Wall or Rumson, right? I know you would have played.
Yep.
You would have played
Yeah.
Rumson earlier, right? Because
No,
Wall
we
was
would
on
have
the
played Rumson like in 2 rounds, and then it would have.
and Wall. Yeah, I would have looked forward to that. Now, I wasn't at the Rumson game. That's another thing. Want to bring that game up now. Um, I was told your team dominated the game. You just now just replay the last 30 seconds. The game's tied, right? It was a 1-1.
So yeah, we were up 1-0, and then the last I think 8 minutes they scored.
Okay. And go through that final segment that you put the game winner in.
I remember they got that goal, and then it was very hot out, and like that day it was random for it to be so hot, so we were all tired, and no one wanted to go into overtime. And then Haley Sharp she punted the ball over the halfway line, and I was able to get the ball off of one bounce, and then I just dribbled down the line and was able to get a shot.
Yeah, so anybody that doesn't know, what was it, 1.8 seconds? What did you think about the slide tackles? I know people argue whether they were fouls or not. I don't think they were fouls.
Clean. They were clean.
That's why I didn't think they were
'Cause
fouls.
I'm like very with my side tackles. Like if I think it's dirty, I'll go up right away.
Yeah.
And I mean, at least on match fit, I'm pretty accurate with it most of the time.
Yeah.
And so I knew it was clean.
I only saw the one camera view. To me, it didn't look it, and it just. But not to take away. I mean, the feeling, the score of the game winner, only 1.8 seconds left. That has to be.
Wait,
So.
you think it wasn't clean?
No, I thought it was clean.
Oh, okay. I was
No,
like, because
no. Oh, sorry. Did I say I meant watching? I thought it was. I used to ref a little. I wouldn't have called it. I thought it was fine. So, and it was funny because you scored 1.8, and I was at the Middletown Freehold game, and Freehold put the game winner in overtime with about 20 seconds left. So it was that was the bad, because I think your game was supposed to be 10 a.m. that day, and then I think SAT testing, the game got pushed back because I was planning on going to both. I was like, oh yes, I'm going to be able to catch both these games, and then your coach told me that the game is at 2, and I was like, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Before we talk your future, we'll do a little quick round robin questions again. What's your favorite number?
25.
25. Is that your number for match fit too? Okay. Now you had real quick. You had 3 different numbers in high school. Did you have 3 different numbers?
I think so. I
think when I was looking,
we didn't have jerseys the same every year, so it changed.
Okay. Yeah, because I think you were definitely 15 your junior season, and I think I saw it because I was going through your stats and stuff. You were 12 maybe your freshman year.
Mm-hmm. 12 and 15.
Okay. What's your favorite subject?
It was chemistry, but I think I'd say math, honestly.
Math. Well, they're similar. What's your favorite TV show?
Gossip Girl.
What's your favorite movie?
Secretariat.
I remember. I love that movie. That and Seabiscuit. I was actually watching Seabiscuit the other day. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
All right. Last one. What is something you enjoy doing outside soccer and eliminate riding horses too?
No. Last time I think I said going to the beach with my friends, right? Because there's not a lot of free time. So when you get the chance, I like going. Yeah,
but I don't know how you girls find free time to do your homework with the amount of soccer. Because I know that the match fit level you practice in almost every day, probably.
A lot, yeah.
Now it's weird. Your senior year's over for soccer, but match fit still goes on, right? When does that end? Spring, I guess.
Yeah, no, it goes. I mean, I'd say it ends in June, early June.
I mean, that's good because back in the day when high school soccer season ended, I think you had one more soccer season, and then it just ended. Now moving on, you're going to Penn State, great school. What was some of the reasons that you chose Penn State?
I think that when I went on my visit, everyone says like when you walk on campus, and I definitely felt that. I loved all the coaches, like every single person on the coaching staff, and the girls on the team. Like when I was getting recruited, that was definitely a dream school of mine. So it was crazy for me to see like a lot of the girls I looked up to go there.
And you're playing a great division too, Big Ten. I'll be able to get to when you play Rutgers. I'll have that game circled. Um, do you know what you want to study?
I think English and then pre-law or business. I'm just going to go to the business school.
Okay. You interested in being a lawyer?
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. Takes a lot of work, a lot of school. Last question, and I'll let you go. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would say it sounds like cliche, but you have to believe in yourself and that like hard work does pay off because it's not always going to be easy. And in the end, like you'll see the results if you keep working hard.
Now, just talking about hard work now, trying to explain to my niece, the hardest work is not when you're with your team, but, you got to be working, how many hours you spent in the backyard, whether it's just, playing with your sister and your brother or, just doing yourself. You think that's a big factor, playing at the level that you play at?
Definitely.
All right, Sophia, thank you for joining me again. And this time it looks like everything worked out well.
Thank you.
I wish you luck next year at Penn State. And I follow the local kid stats, and the fact that you're playing Penn State, at least if you're playing at Rutgers, I could catch that game and stuff. But they got to do more streaming though for soccer, don't you think? Every basketball.
You can find it. There. Once you're like really hooked in, you can find it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the Big Ten Network. I'm sure they have it. I'm gonna have to get that because I was watching the Vanderbilt football game because I didn't see her, and unfortunately all she did was a kickoff. But what do you think? I thought that was right from the kickoff. I said that's a set play. The way I don't know if you saw it. She kind of kicked it to the sideline.
I saw a highlight of it. I didn't watch the game, but after reading, I agree that I think that the coach told her what to do.
Yeah, and they interviewed the coach, and unfortunately he got fired the next week.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he got fired. Well, they're a very bad team. I think I was tweeting. I said, please put her in a quarterback because the quarterback was awful. But the coach said that because she only had practice for like 4 days, they didn't want to change her kicking style to more of a traditional football kickoff. So they asked what she felt more comfortable with, and it was a set play. But I got pissed off all the people tweeting that look, she can't kick. But as soon as she kicked that, I go, that was designed that way, because
I know I felt bad, and people were saying that because it was clear that like she was told to do that. So
yeah, and she did exactly what she was supposed to because they didn't advance the ball. They had so to me it was perfectly placed. So, but I was just what an achievement. Do you think we're going to see Carly Lowe kicking in the NFL?
I think so. I think it's definitely a possibility, especially after this. I think it'll happen sooner or later.
Yeah, I definitely could see her, who knows if she makes a roster, but definitely in a preseason game, when she's ready to hang up. It doesn't look like she's looking to hang up the soccer cleats anytime soon, though. So, all right, Sophia, I'll let you go. Thank you for joining me. And like I said, good luck next year.
Thank you.